Hello. My name is Christopher, and welcome to Hamilton Inspired Media. Listen, today I want to talk to you about how to live stream like the pros in OBS. Now, OBS is a live streaming software. It's called Open Broadcast Studio. And OBS is really powerful because it allows you to create scenes like this one. It also allows you to create scenes like this one, where you can show your audience a different viewpoint from the one that you're actually showing to begin with. And you can switch back and forth between those scenes inside of OBS. You can have a lot of different sources. You can have a lot of different things in terms of audio, visual components inside of your live stream to give you the look and the appearance that you really want. Now, there are many different ways that you can live stream and that you can get online. If you're into gaming, of course, you want to make sure that you're able to show people your game. And so that's something that you can do by using OBS. And there are other live stream platforms in terms of Restream or StreamYard. And those platforms are really good for live streaming as well, but they limit you in some ways that OBS will actually free you. So in a lot of the ways that using OBS software will actually be more beneficial to you than using some of those other platforms. Plus, unlike OBS, where you're sending out your own stream and you can send multiple streams all for free, with a lot of these other services, they're charging you in order to send out a live stream, as well as charging you to remove simple things like logos or, their own watermarks. So you really find yourself in a position where you are listening and you have to do the things that they say. So they only give you the elements that they give you. You only have the customization that they allow you to be able to customize. So it really is great to use software like OBS, because then if you have a mirrorless camera or a DSLR camera, and you have something like a capture card like this one that I have from Elgato, which is the Camlink 4K, then you can get your camera into your live stream and you can have that live stream look really, really awesome, because you're not using a simple webcam, but instead now you're using something like this, a 4K webcam or a 4K mirrorless camera like my Sony a7 III. You're able to send that into OBS rather than using a webcam or some other kind of camera. So today is all about that kind of conversation, why you would use OBS and also how you would use OBS. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you guys what OBS looks like. So what you are viewing right now is a scene that I have created in OBS. But now if I press this button, you'll be able to see OBS, how it appears to you. So when you download the software from the website, and it's very simple to find, when you Google search OBS, it'll be very easy for you to find it and install it. And from the beginning, it's very easy to use. When you first find your OBS, you're not going to have any scenes. You're not going to have any sources. And it's just going to be pretty much a blank canvas for you. But this area right here is called your scenes. And this area is called your sources. And as you move over, you have your audio mixer, scene transitions, and here are some controls such as starting your stream, stopping your stream, starting your recording, studio mode, and settings. I'll show you studio mode very quickly because if I show you studio mode, what that will do is it'll show you how I can create a scene, or I can create a scene and change some things in that scene without changing what you guys see. So for example, here is an empty scene. It has no sources at all. But if I want to add a source, I can come down here to this plus button and I can add a source into this empty scene. So I can click this plus sign and I can add a source. And these are the different types of sources that you can add. So there's input, output, captures, browser, color source, display capture, etc., etc., etc. And for the most part, what you're looking at is just different ways that you can add in either audio or visuals. Either it's going to be a picture or a video, some kind of feed or source that you're adding in. That's all of that. That's all that this simply is, or even text, mind you. Another thing that I like to use a lot is window captures. So there are different reasons and different use cases for why you would use each of these. But let's just say we wanted to add in our camera, for example. So we'll go to video capture device, and we can even name this video capture device. We'll name it webcam. And when we hit OK, when this box comes up, we'll hit the plus sign, video capture device. When this box comes up, we can then name our source. So we can say webcam, hit OK. And now we're greeted with this window here. So we're saying, what kind of device do we want to add? Do we want to add a Prism Live Studio? Do we want to add this OBS capture? What kind of device do we want to add? Right now, I have a webcam here. And I really want to show this webcam even so we can see the difference. So here with this USB, I'm going to plug into this webcam. So as I plug into this webcam here, what you'll see is OBS will then, you'll be able to recognize and use that webcam instead. So I'll double click and here you have it. Now my webcam is active, and you can even just see the difference with that webcam and my other webcam. But first, let's go and let's change our resolution type. We'll go to custom 1920 by 1080. Okay, and it fills in the rest for you. Just want to do that so we have a nice square image. So now this is my webcam. Is located right here. If I use this view so that you guys can see, I'll show you right here. I'll switch out of here and I'll show you guys from this view. This is the webcam that I'm using up here, and this is my iPhone that's also being used. It's over here in this area right there. Okay, so as I was saying before, back in studio mode, if I'm here and I'm looking at this scene, I can see in my sources, the only thing that I actually have in my sources, as I show you guys right here, the only thing that I have in the sources is webcam. So that's the only thing that shows up. I can hit this I and that will turn off my webcam, and I can hit it and it will turn my webcam on. So the I show and hides that webcam. Okay, I also want to show you something really cool that you can do, but I want to give you a little bit of time as we start adding in some more things into this scene. So here is our empty scene. We just have a webcam. We can go back to the plus sign, and now we can add in a audio input capture. Now, audio input capture is great because that's going to be things like your microphone. Okay, so we'll add in a microphone and we'll name it microphone, and we'll hit OK. And then we'll be greeted with with this box, and this is so that we can choose what audio device we're going to use. So off the bat, we're not going to have audio coming from that webcam, but we can choose to have that webcam be our audio source. So if we choose OK, we hit OK, and now we have a webcam and we have a microphone. Now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to switch over from my main source, where this is using my Sony a7 III, and I have a PreSonus dynamic microphone. I'm going to switch over from using that, and now I'm going to go to my empty scene. All right. So now I'm here using my empty scene, and as you can see, this image is not as great. Of course, I do have some lighting, so this scene is not as great. But it's okay. If you only have this webcam, then I guess you just have to use this webcam. But what we can do is show you some ways that we can make this webcam a little bit better. So I'll pop back into OBS and I can open up the settings for this webcam. I'll show you what I do for that. In order to do that, we're just going to go to our empty, and we're going to double click on that webcam. So as we double click the webcam, we then have this option to configure video. So with configure video, we can come in here and we can say, okay, listen, it's too bright. We need to make it a little darker, maybe add in some contrast. If it kind of feels like it's a little flat, add in some contrast. And then maybe add in a little bit of saturation. And we can just kind of come in here and just start changing some of these settings so we can get exactly where we want to be. It has an auto white balance, but maybe I want to fine tune the white balance. See, so I have that option to come in here and say, okay, actually, I think this number fits my white balance a little bit better than what the camera said that it originally was, right? And so I can come in here, I can maybe turn on the backlight if I want. I can leave that off. I can adjust the gain. Sometimes some of these options don't necessarily work, but you have the option to do some of the camera controls. You can even zoom in and zoom out on that webcam if you want to kind of crop in and make a better look for you. We can also change the exposure, so we have everything that we have. Now we have more options to change things with that webcam, and we can get a better look, right? We can get a better look than what we have. So now I have these settings. Maybe I'll come in here and I turn my brightness back up just a touch. Turn my brightness back up just a touch. And yeah, we can see the difference from what we started with without doing any of the webcam configuration. Now we can kind of see the difference of what we get with that webcam configuration. Okay. But even with all of that, you really can't beat having a professional setup. And that was what was inspiring this video, is how do you get a more professional look? How do you get that crispy, clean looking video and audio? And well, OBS is one of the first steps that you would use to get that. Now, for some people, especially those that use Mac, or if you want to use exactly what, for example, Tom Buck uses, then you would have to get something called Ecamm. Ecamm Live is a similar software. It can do a few more features than what OBS can right out of the box. A lot of things that OBS does, it requires plugins, and it requires you to know a little bit of how to install the software and really get things going in order for you to really master OBS. There's a few more things that you would have to install in order for you to really get a really great live stream going. But Ecamm Live right out of the box, a lot of those things that you would need a plugin for, you already have with Ecamm Live. Only downside with that is it is Mac only, but that is what some of those professional live streamers are using in order to do their live streams. Shout outs to you, Tom Buck. In order to get a camera like the camera that I have, which is the Sony a7 III, you would need to use something like this capture card. So with your camera, let's say you do decide, I want to upgrade, I want to get a better look, I want to make things look right. Another thing, lighting, how you set up your scene, all of those things will come into play. It won't just be, wow, awesome, I have a really great camera, and so now my live stream is going to look awesome. No, it's going to matter what is actually in your scene. It's going to matter what kind of things are in your background or in your foreground, what things can people see and what things can't they see. All of those things will matter. But just at the beginning, when we're first understanding and we're first learning, we need to use something like this in order to use our camera. So most cameras will have a HDMI out, and as you use the HDMI out, you will go into your camera through your HDMI. From your HDMI on your camera, you're then going to go into this capture card. That's what this is called. This is a Camlink 4K. You're going to go into this capture card, and then from this capture card, this is going to go into your computer. And when you do that, you will be able to see your camera come up as a webcam inside of OBS. I'm doing a little bit of a different setup, especially with this camera, this scene camera that we have here, so that you can see all of the different things that's happening. For example, you can see the backside of my camera. You can see what I see in terms of my computer screens. You can see my layout. You can see my messy cabling that I've done. Not so great of a cabling job. You can see my other keyboards here because I make music on my other YouTube channel. So you can see different things because of the positioning that I have of that camera. To get that camera into OBS, I'm using something called Video Ninja, VDO Ninja. And essentially what that does is it sends the signal of the camera feed to a browser, and then I'm able to view that browser on OBS. Now, it sounds complicated, but really when you think about it, and once you start doing it, it's not complicated at all. It's very easy to set up that kind of a camera source and use that every single time you jump into a live stream or every single time you decide to use OBS. It really is simple. On my phone now, whenever I'm using it, it automatically can go straight to that website. So I don't have to type in anything. That website automatically pops up. Also, along with the website popping up automatically inside of OBS, I'll already have the browser source ID that I need to use in order for it to show up in OBS as well. I'll already have that browser source ready to go. So Video Ninja is a really cool platform. Check it out, try it out. But you also can use things like Elgato has a Screen Link. So you can use Screen Link from Elgato. It's the same process. As long as you're on Wi-Fi or your phone can connect to the internet, you would just connect to that app, and then there is a connection here inside of OBS where you can use Screen Link to use a camera. So those are some alternative ways that you can get nice video inside of OBS rather than live streaming from your phone, for example. You can do that. So of course you always have the option of live streaming from your phone, but if you live stream from your phone, you also won't be able to use something like this, a dynamic microphone. So this dynamic microphone that I'm using is called the PD-1 by PreSonus. It's a dynamic microphone. It's less than $100. It's a pretty good microphone. So great that I decided, hey, I want to get not one, but two of these microphones. And I like them because of the way that they look. They're nice and compact, and they have a really great sound. So just like I showed you before, how you can get a microphone into OBS, this is another way that you can get a microphone into OBS. So if we set up our system here so I can show you guys, I'll show you here. Here is my picture. I'll show you in our empty scene. Well, here's our empty scene back to our webcam here. I'll show you when I go to this camera here. I'll go to studio mode so that you guys can see. And I'll go to empty. And instead of this webcam microphone, I'm going to choose my audio interface. So this is the audio interface that I have. It's called a Focusrite USB audio. This Focusrite is located here on my desk. It is a red box that I use to live stream with. So it captures audio from my guitars as well as from my microphone. So the audio goes into the Focusrite box and then it comes into OBS. So I can set that up, and now I will have another mic that I can use inside of my empty scene. So if I jump out of here and I switch over to empty, you will see now I have this microphone working in empty as well. Okay, so let's jump back to our regular scene. So that is how you can switch your input sources back and forth. So if you're using your phone, there are other ways that you can capture audio. So for example, I also sometimes use this Saramonic wireless receiver. When I use this wireless system from Saramonic, and they have some really great, some newer ones that are really awesome. But when I use this guy, I could just clip this right here to my sweater, and I can just clip it right here to my sweater, and it's pretty much ready to go right there. And the receiver I typically would put on my camera. But if I'm going to use it for my iPhone, for example, I just need to use one of those Thunderbolt adapters. I connect the Thunderbolt adapter and it works flawlessly. I've used it for church live streams. I've used it for funerals. I've used it for my own video production and live streams as well. So it's very handy to use something like this, because now you have the microphone right next to you, and you probably have seen people use the microphone like this, like they'll hold it in their hand, they're kind of talking into it. If you have one like this where if you touch this part, it makes a lot of noise. Okay, so might want to be strategic in how you hold it. Like if you do like that, you will hear that in these things. So the microphone is this direction. I'll sometimes make sure I hold it to the side so that way air is not flowing directly into the microphone, or I might even hold it upside down so the microphone is actually pointed away from me, and that way it doesn't get any of that air. But that's just a note on these wireless receivers that they have here. They're also pretty awesome to use as well. But I think if you have a live stream setup like this, nothing really beats having a great dynamic microphone where you can adjust the loudness, you can adjust the filters inside of OBS. I'll jump over here to that scene again so I can show you. Here is the filters that I am using inside of OBS. I use a noise suppression filter. I have some gain, compressor, a 3-band EQ, and a limiter. And if I was to turn all of these things off, this is how my microphone sounds without any of that stuff. So all of these things have been turned off, and here's how it sounds. You probably even can hear some background noise. So it really does matter to have those filters on. As I turn these filters back on, you can hear the difference between what was just being done and what is being done now. Now, what I've also done is I've included like a nice effect inside of my microphone filters list. Let me show you how you can get to your filters, by the way. If I'm here on this source and I click on mic, there's a button here that says filters, and I can click that button and it will open my filters, or I can hover over my source. I can right click and go to filters. And then that will show me the list of filters that I have and filters that I can use. I can add different filters, and this particular filter that I'm using is actually a VST from Native Instruments called Replica, and essentially very, shortened to the point, it creates an echo. So what I've done is I've created a filter, but I hide the filter, and then when I unhide it, the echo will start. So now you can hear the echo. And then when I hide it using that eye that we showed you earlier, when I hide it and unhide it, that's when the echo activates and deactivates. Now somebody might say, hey, Chris, that's really cool, but what if you don't want to use your mouse and you don't want to keep going back and forth and you don't want to keep doing that, right? Like, how can I set this up to where it's easier? And you probably have seen me also come up here and press this button and press this button. You've probably seen me do some of these things. And so I want to show you what I'm using in order to be able to do that. And what I'm using is called the Elgato Stream Deck. Okay. Now the Elgato Stream Deck is really awesome. I can pull it out right here so that you can get another look at it. I don't have enough cord necessarily, but the Elgato Stream Deck is really great because it allows you to create shortcuts and create different things inside of the system software, where at the press of a button you can now, have access to these scenes in OBS, right? So as I press each of those buttons, it switches over to a different scene. And that makes live streaming really powerful because it puts things at the palm of your hand. Not only that, but also I have some sound effects. Maybe I make a really bad joke and, I make a really bad joke like I often do. And you need a little drum roll, a little jokey drum roll. But it can go as simple as something like that to as to creating that echo and turning that echo on and off with the touch of a button. Now, I also turned my microphone off. So sometimes you just need to mute yourself. It's great to have a button right there that you can just press. So sometimes that mute really comes in handy as well. So this is just a smaller version of the Elgato Stream Deck. Different live streamers use different sizes. They have a much larger size. I believe this is a, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 15 key Stream Deck. I believe they have one that goes to 32, and all of these are little LEDs or little LCDs or little screens that they have there, and you can customize it and put different words and things like that onto these different screens here to let you know what they do. I pretty much memorize them, so I know I don't have to look. I know when I press this one, it's going to go to this scene. I know when I press this one, it's going to come back to my front scene, right? So I kind of really already know what these buttons will do because I've been practicing and I've been using it, so I don't have to necessarily look at it. But you can also use animated GIFs in these screens. So when you set it up in the app, you can use animated GIFs, and that can just help you to really set some stuff up. So I do want to show you how we can use the Elgato Stream Deck as well. So I'm going to pop over here to this scene just for a second, and I'm going to pull up my Stream Deck, the software, so you guys can see the Stream Deck software. All right, so here we are, and I'll show you the Stream Deck software. So whenever you're using the Stream Deck software, essentially it's connected to your Stream Deck, and this is the layout that you will see, and this is the layout that you see on your Stream Deck. If I move this guy here, I'll see it move in real time on my Stream Deck. So that's very powerful as well. If I want to add something, then I can, I need to have an empty space, or I can delete it, or I can go to an entirely new page. I can just create a whole nother page here, and I can cycle back and forth between those pages as well. So if I have a page there, then I can use that to cycle between the different pages, and then I'll be able to, do other things. Typically, I just like to use one page. I set everything up for the one page, but of course you have the option to have multiple pages. So let's just say on this page, I start setting it up to do some different things. So I'll show you some things that you can do. Of course, it has a soundboard, so you can play audio. So you can drop an audio in here, and then you can use your file Explorer. You can use your Windows Explorer to find a file, or you can download files from Elgato as well. If you're looking for sound effects, you can click this button here, get more sound effects. And when you click that button, it will open up a window for you then to go find different sound effects. So let's say I want that sound effect. I hit download on that sound effect. It tells me what I need in order to use it. Says the sound file has been installed, and let's see. Says it's been installed. Here is the file, and there it is. I can press that button and now it is working correctly. Now I also can, do another sound here, and instead of using that, I can use music as well. So maybe I want to play some different music or something like that. I can come in here and I can find a little theme song, or maybe like some outro music, or something that I want to use here. Cool, let's get some lo-fi. So like I said before, hit that download button, and then right here when it says that it is installed, or it says it's been downloaded, I can just go ahead and click that menu item, that menu button, and then I can find it there. Let me make sure that I actually hit download on this guy. Okay. All right, so it has downloaded it, and now I can come in here and I can find that lo-fi funk, and I can press that and it will play it. And let me just switch over to OBS. Yes, and it is playing that there in the background. I have the option to control the volume of it, so maybe I just want to play it softly in the background. I can do that as well. We can just kind of play it a little soft. I can change the actions, so I can say, oh, I want to play and stop. So if I press the button once, it'll play, and if I press it again, it'll stop, and that'll be great, right? So I play it when I want to just play it, and then I can stop it when I want to stop it. Right. So that's something that we can do with that. So that is a soundboard. That's an option that we have for Stream Deck, right? Because of course it's great to use sound effects, right? It's really great to have sound effects that you can use. But also what you can use instead of having that soundboard, you can also do some different things. You can do all kind of things in your computer as well as in OBS specifically. So you can set it up to where you open a certain application, you open a certain folder, you shut down the, I'm not 100% sure if you can shut the computer down or not, but I know you can open different apps just with the touch of a button. So I'm going to choose Lightroom, for example, and when I press that button on my Stream Deck, now it will open Adobe Lightroom, right? And so I have different profiles as well. This profile that I'm using is set up for my live stream, but you could set up the profile, instead of it being for the live stream, you could just have it just set up for your everyday use. So this is Hamilton Inspired Media Live, but I also have a gaming setup. I also have shortcuts where you can see all of the different shortcuts that I would use on a regular basis. And as you click each of those, it will take you to the next thing, or it will take you to whatever that shortcut is, either closing an app or opening settings, opening files, etc., etc., etc. So one thing I wanted to show you is how you can do a multi-action inside of Streamlabs. So what that means is, using your Stream Deck, you can set it up to where not one thing happens, but a bunch of things happen. So you can click this and drag over. So I'm gonna show you one more time. Over here to the right is where you have your sources, if you will, for all of the different things that you can change. So soundboard, your system, where you can load up a different website. And what's really powerful is the multi-action. Now, when you go to multi-action, you can have a multi-action switch, or a random action. So let's choose multi-action, and we'll drag it over to this square here. So now I can choose the different actions that I want to happen. So let's say, for example, what I want it to do is I want it to start my live stream, and I want it to play a certain song when it starts my live stream. I want it to go to a specific source, a specific scene, and then I want it to switch over and I want it to show my face. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to scene. The first thing I need to do is I want it to go to my intro scene. So if that's the only action that we choose, then that'll be the only action that we have. It just goes straight to the intro scene. But I also want it to, before it goes to the intro scene, I want to make sure that we hide. Okay, I want to make sure that we hide in the intro. I want to make sure that it hides my camera. So my camera is on window capture. So it's going to hide my camera. Okay, it's going to go to the intro scene. And then I need to add a delay. Okay, I want the delay to be 10 seconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. 10,000 milliseconds is 10 seconds. I want it to delay for about 10 seconds. Maybe we actually change that to, instead of 10, maybe we change it to 12 seconds. Okay, so I want it to delay 12 seconds. So the next thing that it's going to do after it delays the 12 seconds is then I want it to show that thing that it hid at first, right? So the thing that it hid was my camera. So we're going to show my camera after that. After the countdown goes off, it's going to show my camera. And then the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to switch the scene. I don't want the scene to stay on intro. I wanted to switch from intro into my next scene. Okay. Now, I think the other thing that I said I wanted it to do was I wanted it to play a certain audio. So I can add in play audio here. Okay. Well, let's add in play audio, and then we'll move this to the top. And I'm going to select that lo-fi funk, that lo-fi, song that we had. We'll select that. We'll put it at 100. We'll put it at 90%. We'll see, for example. So let's look at the actions that will happen. It will play a song. It will go to the source visibility. It will turn off my camera. Then it will go to the scene. And then it will wait until that timer goes down. And then it will turn my camera back on, switch over to the next scene, and then we'll be done. Okay. I think also we probably should copy this, paste this, and then, no, let's not copy and paste that. We'll just have it play the song, and then the song will just end when the song ends. Okay. So let's see what we have there. Okay, when we press this button, we should see everything happen all together. Okay, I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Because I'm excited. Okay, so here's our scene. We're going to test this new multi-action scene that we just built here in inside of Stream Deck. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There's my camera, and it has switched over to the next scene. So, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this live stream as much as I have enjoyed delivering it to you. Just like I have a multi-action for starting the live stream, I also have a multi-action for ending the live stream. So I'm going to press that button as I end this live stream. I just want to say thank you so much. I hope to do more and more videos like this in the future. Until then, bye-bye for now. Well, sometimes you press the wrong button.